Good morning. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us for another edition of the Morning Breeze, man. Always rocking with you guys, as always, man. Outside of me, I got my guy, Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC, in the building. I'm feeling tingly. Might be a wild way to start a podcast off, but I tell you what, Ben Johnson got me feeling tingly. He does not lack confidence, ladies.
Yeah, he's pretty assertive.
Ben Johnson does not lack a bit of confidence. He believes it. And that's got me feeling tingly. We got to talk about Ben Johnson today. Talk about our Johnsons. As Ben Johnson wants the Bears not just to win, but to win now. All right. We getting cocky. I like that. We got to talk about how realistic is that, or is that just hype? Also, believes that he can turn this offensive line around in one offseason. Good to hear that. There's going to be a lot of work that has to go into it. Turning the trenches around in one season is going to be a difficult task, but seems like they got a clear vision. Clear vision was the word yesterday, right? Like everybody had a clear vision.
A lot of clarity, yes.
Yeah, we've had a lot of glaucoma over the last couple of weeks. All that and more on today's episode of The Morning Breeze. The date is 2/26/2025. It's 7:03 in the morning. And Ben Johnson, I see you, bro. Get after. Get the job done. You're doing a lot of talking in the offseason.
That's what we brought him here for.
Hey, I see Detroit fans still mad.
Oh, yeah.
I ain't going to lie to you. Detroit fans ready to fight. They like, I've never wanted to destroy a team more. I'm like, destroy is a little aggressive. Yeah, I mean, seems a little extra. Hit the like button, subscribe to the page, leave that 5-star review. Y'all know what to do, man. That's right, Dark Minds. A cocky Johnson is crazy, and that's what we've got here in Chicago, ladies and gentlemen.
Come on. Push the button. Come on. Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push the button.
You heard what she said.
Y'all heard what Sue Young said. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. JC, what's going on, my guy? How you feeling, man?
Hey, man, I'm feeling good. Hopefully I can be as confident at my job as Ben Johnson is. You know, he's giving me a little bit of motivation.
Bro, listen. Ben Johnson coming out swinging. I spent a lot of time yesterday watching. You know how they that's also crazy. We got a swinging Johnson out here, baby. But you know how they send them around to all the different interviews, right? You're over here, you're on radio, you're talking to this guy, and that somehow Peter King got here. You know what I mean? Like, there's all these people that you end up talking to throughout the day. So I try to listen to as many of those as possible because, you know, everybody's trying, for the most part, everyone asks the same thing, but everybody tries to get that one question in there that's different. I try to piece together those questions. The ESPN had him on yesterday with the Waddle and Sylvie show. And, you know, listen, he number one, he talks as somebody who expects to win and win now. And I thought that it was interesting where it's not just him saying, you know, we want to win and win now. There was a process to it, right? He's talking about what he's looking for in free agency, what he's looking for in the draft. He's talking about, you know, the one thing that he continued to come back to, and we kept talking about this yesterday, right, was, you know, he mentioned DJ Moore as one of the best guys when you get him the ball, how he's going to be able to create after you get him the ball. He said, I don't think the league knows that he's one of the best yards after catch guys in the league.
Mm-hmm.
But, and he finishes it out with this. He was like, DJ knows no block, no rock. And how many times yet last year where now I don't know if we had that issue with DJ Moore as much, but right, like when there was Roma Dunze, when it was, a run to the outside and you need to block for the run. How many times is it, that we sitting there going, if he seals that block, like this is not a bad play call, he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
I think that part of it where you're talking about a guy who is now 8 years into his NFL career could literally go, bro, like I ain't blocking nobody, bro. Throw me the football. In a interview, you're putting that pressure on him to say, hey, listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to throw you the football as many times as you want it. But you going to do your job. Like that kind of confidence and knowing it. I love Waddle finishes it off. He goes, and Antoine Randall let him know that. He was like, yeah, his position coach got him on that one.
Oh, yeah.
I love the confidence that Ben Johnson has, but also the fact that he's willing to go out there and put the pressure on the players to live up to that confidence.
Isn't that not what we brought him here for? Like as much as we want to be in a sense surprised that, wow, he's coming out swinging and, he's got his Johnson just going all over the place. Like my thing is that's what we brought him for. We brought the premium guy, the guy that was a hot name on the market, and we got him. We got him because he was
a little Wagyu beef. Is that what you're saying here? We got a little Wagyu beef.
He is top prime meat right now. That is the ultimate steak. Like you go out for that $125 tomahawk steak like I did a couple months back, and you don't look back at the bill.
You're
like
still talking about that, huh?
Oh my God, that tomahawk steak was delicious, man. What an experience. But I mean, that's the Ben Johnson experience. Like that's exactly what we want here. We want something that is just going to melt in our mouth in a sense, and we want it to just continue to melt in our mouth. It is a ultimate experience. I don't care how many red flags people put in the chat. It is amazing. And I want that constant feeling of bliss. All right, every single piece. And then here's the thing, in all seriousness, Ben Johnson is someone who has seen how successful a complete team looks. And so when he's coming in here, as you mentioned, the key word yesterday in the interviews at the combine were, or rather at the draft combine, was clarity.
Yeah.
Clarity is the key. And he's making it very clear what he wants and the direction that he sees for this team, the type of players that he wants to fit this scheme. And he said it from the onset. This is nothing new. When you're talking about what he expects out of DJ Moore as being a complete player, not just somebody that's going to catch the ball and get his stats, he wants him to block. He wants him to do the little things that lead to winning, right? He said from the very beginning in his opening interview when he came to Hallis Hall, you were there.
Yeah.
He said, he looked at the players and he said, it is time to work. You are going to work harder than you've ever had to work. He put that down already as a staple for what he expects. And so you buy into that. You believe it. And that's exactly the type of standard, the type of culture that we're setting here is confidence, but also it's confidence because you're putting in the work. You're putting in the effort. These players know they have to step it up. And also, he's very confident in the outlook of what he expects this team to look like going forward with the additions that they're going to make. Just last year, we did say the Bears should have been in a position to win now. They should have been in a position to go to the playoffs. Didn't work out. Timeouts. a couple timeouts. We could have had a few more wins. You know what I'm saying? 8 or 9. That's all I'm saying. It's like we were that close.
I thought you were going to get a timeout there, didn't you?
Yeah, those two culprits. That's exactly the problem that we had. And so now we got a real regime on hand, real management, real coaching, real experience, real front office. Like, that's why I have no problem with him saying it is time to win now.
It's so funny, right? Because the line between cockiness and confidence is very thin. And to me, I think that, when you look at what Ben Johnson has accomplished, a lot of people could take what he's saying as cockiness. A lot of people could take what he's saying as, oh, this guy thinks that, his stuff don't stink. And
yeah,
it's funny, right? Because Sylvie even brought it up, talking about, a lot of people didn't think you had a personality. And now all of a sudden it's just like, oh,
Whoa.
God, hey, let me throw the Ben Johnson on the table.
The load of
You know
this
what I mean?
guy. Yeah.
But it was funny. What he said in response to that got me more hyped than anything he said. He was like, well, that's because my job at that point was to put up as many points as possible and to not stop until Dan Campbell told me we're taking a knee. I was just like, all right, hold on. Now you're getting me. Now you get me excited because that's the kind of mindset I want from not only my offensive play caller, but my head coach. That is the kind of mindset that can be win and win now. You know what that mindset isn't? That's not Matt Eberflus saying that good enough is good enough. That's what we've had over the past 4 years. Hey, we put up 30 in the first half. Let's just run this out here. Don't worry about it. Good enough. I mean, oh, you know what? He caught that at the 10. We'll just take this field goal here. We don't got to be aggressive. You know what? Good enough. Yeah, I mean, you got that interception there, but we're going into the half. How about we take a knee here? We're up by 3 points. Good enough. Hey, I came out of that locker room and I told the boys to score.
Yeah.
I told them we got each other. And we got back out there. Good enough. You know what I mean? Like
that was epic.
Ben Johnson not talking about good enough being good enough was the biggest takeaway that I could have had from today. I mean, I'm excited about the Bears wanting to be in win now mode. And here's the thing. This is the kind of league where that can actually happen. And I keep telling people this, and I think that, you know, this is the conversation that you kind of have to get into about the offensive line, right? It's the Bears are in a position where if you address the trenches, as you look around, all of a sudden you have great pieces again. A lot of people's mindsets are clouded on where the pieces are right now because we don't have good trenches. And I think that's the other thing, right? When Ben Johnson was asked about, you know, how quickly do you anticipate that you're going to improve the trenches here? He's not talking about, you know, this is going to be something that's going to be built up over time. Courtney asked him this. She essentially said the entire Bears interior O-line, Tevin Jenkins, Coleman Shelton, and Matt Pryor are pending free agents. Is it possible for Chicago to flip the entire interior unit in one offseason? Again, not shying away, not running away from the question, not saying, well, we like what we have here, but we think that we want to upgrade positions as well. We believe that. No, yeah, I think it's been done before, right? I mean, there are a number of teams that did it last year. The Panthers come to mind. By the way, the Panthers offensive line was, I know I saw some people say this was like, is he using the Panthers right now? Panthers offensive line was really good. The quarterback play wasn't always good, but the Panthers offensive line was really good with a couple of pieces that the Bears could have acquired if Ryan Poles had just, you know, open those ears. But the Panthers come to mind when they went out in free agency, got a couple of top guards, really changed the dynamic of their offense. You saw them clicking there in the second half of the season. Once they really started to gel, there's no question that you can change the dynamic of that room just like that. That particular room, it does take time for five guys to come together, especially if you have to deal with attrition and injuries for five guys to be working on the same page. There was no part of that was, you know, we really think that Tevin Jenkins is a beautiful asset, and, you know, we hope to get him in here. I love the tape on Tevin. There was no part of that was, you know, Coleman, you know, look, smart center, understands the game, knows what to do. They asked him, do you think you may need to replace it, and can you do it? Yeah. Oh, okay.
Straightforward.
No follow-up, sir. Thank you. Appreciate you.
That's all we want. That's what we want.
I love that. I love that.
No, we want assertiveness. And again, it's a breath of fresh air. You want someone that sees a direction, that sees what the plan is. And honestly, half of it is you have control over a part of actually getting it done. Like, you know, when it comes to the draft, there are going to be tackles and guards and, you know, swing linemen that are out there. We've talked about almost all of them in the first to second to third rounds. We talked about having 3 picks in the top 45 to address those needs. But then when it comes to free agency, you know, there are certain, you know, angles and parameters that you can't control. If you try to go for the big swing and miss on a Trey Smith, that's fine. But then you also have other second-tier options that are just as good, or might I say even better than anything we have on this line already. And so the confidence, in my opinion, comes from that. When you look at the line that we have constructed now versus the names that are going to be there for us to possibly get, there's clear upgrades. Heck, the people coming out of college, in my opinion, are already going to be clear upgrades at certain positions. If you get Will Campbell in the building, if you get Kelvin Banks, and honestly, in my opinion, Josh Simmons, Josh Connerly, you got Armand Membu, like the list goes on and on and on. And so these things can get addressed. How's your Membu? These things can get addressed very quickly. And that's why I think he meant it that way, is that, hey, there's so many different ways that we can go about this. So even if we don't hit in free agency on, a Drew Dolman, could there be a Ryan Kelly? Could we go for the center, in the draft that we were talking about? If we don't hit on a Kevin Zeitler or a Brandon Scherf at guard, could we, also go for Will Campbell and maybe move him inside? Could we go for a Gray Zabel, move him inside? Those things are probably conversations that they already are talking about. And so when you're evaluating the pieces that they need and what's already out there, I think that's where the confidence comes from, is because partially they control that destiny.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think the conversation now that does get interesting is, I don't know if you saw this around Trey Smith. Well, number one, Travis Kelce's staying, which is good for the Chicago Bears. Travis Kelce will be back in the 2025 season. Random little nugget that got dropped out there. Apparently he was dealing with an undisclosed illness. I don't like to hear that. When you say undisclosed illness going into Super Bowl week, that usually don't mean something that it was just like a cold. Prayers up for Travis Kelce just in case. Hopefully everything's okay. But
I hope so. Yeah.
But it seems like he's going to be coming back to the Kansas City Chiefs, which means they don't get the extra $17 million to bring back Trey Smith. Now, from what we have seen, and I saw a Kansas City Chiefs insider say this on a podcast yesterday, that there is growing optimism that they will try to bring Trey Smith back for a long-term deal. And yet again, right, you got to put the money on the table, put the bag on the table, put that whatever you need. We're backloading this contract. And I don't know if that's how it's going to work. You have to go through the negotiation process of it, but you're now in a better position hearing that Travis Kelce is coming back, because there is less money for them to throw around. Now the salary cap going up and all that stuff does help them. But to me, I think the conversation right now is the fact that, you have an opportunity to go out there and get a guy like that. Atlanta has no hope. Atlanta can't bring back Dolman. He's out there. Go get him. Like that is the one. Dolman is the one I think that to me is that should be the guarantee of the offseason. Trey Smith can be a question. Absolutely. Dolman should be the guarantee.
Absolutely.
Like, if he goes somewhere else, it should 100% be because I don't believe in y'all, so I'm gonna go sign with the Patriots. It shouldn't be they spent more money than you, although the Patriots do have more money than us. They kind of can do that, but they got a lot more positions to fill than we do. And I think that's the thing, right? When having this conversation, where I started all of this was, you look at the outside pieces and they seem like they're not great until there's blocking available.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Then all of a sudden, and I don't think that we need a quantity of pieces. I do think we need some depth. You find depth. But I don't think we need a quantity of pieces. I think we need quality pieces in the middle of this line.
I think quality matters, but I will say this. I do hope we get better depth. If we come out with, getting a few starters in free agency, I hope then at that point you go into the draft and say, okay, here's some pieces that we can develop. And then you also look at someone, again, that we talked about plenty of times in Karan, Amageji, a Matt Pryor maybe, being here still. I would hope that the depth behind the initial first starting five is going to be a little bit better than what we thought we had this past offseason, where we thought we addressed the depth, and that depth was actually death. It was DEATH.
No, the depth was fine. They just all ended up being starters because our starters were dead.
They died. They died. Okay, that's what it was. It was the reverse. All right, I got you. Yeah, it was just it was bad. So I do hope to an extent they do address that to a degree, because you never know. Obviously injuries are part of the game, but yeah, if again, this offseason is about, like you said, clarity, making sure that you have a plan in place, and it looks that they do. And hey, I think that they're going to attack this thing early and often.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening. It is a Wednesday. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love.
Shout out, y'all.
Good vibes in the building. T. Miller said left tackle, defensive end, O-line. I love that whole O-line. Running back, safety, wide receiver. I think a lot of those positions. Well, I don't know about wide receiver. We don't need a wide receiver. I'm good.
Wide receiver 3, maybe, because of Keenan might be leaving.
Listen, I find a wide receiver 3.
Tyler Scott.
Who's an old wide receiver 2 that ain't good no more.
Yeah.
Wide receiver 3, get your butt in there, get in the slot. But no, man, I think the excitement now has to go into, okay, who are some of the guys that you can sign? Who are some of the guys that you can add? Who are some of the guys that the Bears may look to re-sign? And I want to talk about one young man that the Chicago Bears can re-sign here, because Ryan Poles a little bullish yesterday. Says you want to re-sign your own players, and he likes what he sees. And by the way, he is the one name that Dennis Allen has brought up kind of a lot. Yep. So we'll talk about that. Could the Bears have a re-sign coming soon, after we hear a word from our sponsors over at Aura? Appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching the show. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Aura. Have you ever done a Google search on your own name? You'd be surprised what pops up. Your full name, email address, home address, health records, your relatives. It's all out there. And that's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests just for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it protects me from hackers who could use that information to help them access my social media, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. It's really simple to set up. I don't have to download several apps or go to things like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft, but you can get all of that in one place with Aura. I get everything at one affordable price as well. You may already have one or two of these tools, but not having Aura is like leaving the front door locked while leaving the back door and windows wide open. For you to be able to take advantage of Aura, we got a special deal for you here today. Stop data brokers from exposing your personal information. Go to my sponsor at https:/aura.com/the Windy City. Again, that is aura.com/the Windy City to get a 14-day free trial and see how much of your information is being sold. Love a good Aura read, man.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Legitimately, man. We do have, usually don't do this coming out of the break. We do have over 300. 300. 220 on the YouTube side, 114 on the Twitter side, man. On that YouTube side, let's get it up over 100 likes on the video. On the Twitter side, hit that retweet button, man. Share this thing up to all the friends. Let them know that we know that you know that we back up.
I love it.
Just got done talking about Ben Johnson wanting to be in win now mode and what it's going to take for him to get that done. Is it realistic to believe that he's going to be able to get that done in one off season? There's going to be a lot. What happened? Whoa!
It's just out of nowhere with that. All right, Garrett Top. It's a good morning.
Right. This guy wakes up aggressive. He's
he's Ben Johnson.
Perk right. 30. You guys off that perk 30. Listen, the Chicago Bears, as we continue this, the talk has been all about free agency, and the talk has been all about getting guys signed who aren't on the team currently, but there is some players that could be up for contract extensions soon here that are part of this team. That listen, you have to ask yourself, is that somebody that you want to get re-signed on this team? And the name Kyler Gordon came up in an interview yesterday with Ryan Poles. And basically what Ryan Poles said about it was, listen, Kyler Gordon is a piece that you love. You think that he believes that he can take his career to that next level. He can continue to take that next step. And that he is somebody that, you want to re-sign your own players. No matter what, you want to re-sign your own players. The part of this that does make it interesting, though, is the conversation that we've had, right? The addressing of the trenches is not going to be cheap. We could be talking about the Chicago Bears spending upwards of $200 million just on the offensive side of the ball. When in total value on these contracts, right? Then you talk about the possibility of going out and maybe adding a Josh Sweat in free agency. If you want that sweat to sweat connection there, right? Maybe you talk about the possibility of going out and getting a Khalil Mack listen, a Hassan Reddick out there, or and we didn't talk about this, and it didn't say it was a topic. A Jonathan Allen is now looking.
I
for
heard,
training.
He might be.
Could he be somebody that you could get tingly about on the old trade market? But then you immediately have to extend him. He's 30 years old. He's coming off an injury. Yeah, you know what I mean, a little dangerous right there. Yeah. But I say all that to say, there are pieces that you could address the trenches of this team with. On your list, is Kyler Gordon a must re-sign player for this team?
Absolutely. And I love what Ryan Poles said about it, and he stuck to that. You sign players and you sign your own. Kyler Gordon is drafted by the Chicago Bears. He's proven time after time when he's been on the field that he is an impact player, that he actually changes the dynamic of the game with the ability to not only cover, but also his ability and desire, might I add, to actually create pressure by blitzing. To me, I love when Kyler Gordon blitzes because he always seems to find his way back to the backfield and get pressure on the quarterback. If he's not hitting him, he's almost getting there. Like, he always finds those little holes and he just squirms his way through it. That's a type of player that you do not want to pass up on. He is a Swiss Army knife. And I told you before, the last slot cornerback that I feel compared to him was Bryce Callahan. Years ago when we had Bryce Callahan, to me, he was a very, very good player, really under the radar, important player on that team when you had a prime Eddie Jackson and a Kyle Fuller and I think Khalil Mack and Akeem and all those boys. Like, that is a player that you want to keep here. And I think Kyler Gordon, in my opinion, has way more potential and talent than Bryce ever did. And so you want to keep a special talent like that in the building. My only question mark with Kyler, and this is not something huge, right? And it's not necessarily a concern to the 10th degree like with Tevin, but I do want to see him play a little bit more healthier. Kyler has gotten hurt a few times. I want him to be a little bit more available. I don't feel like that's a huge red flag with him already.
Nah, his injuries have kind of been like, I tried to punch somebody and so I broke my hand. You know what I mean? Like, I tried to punch the ball out, so I broke my hand. Or like, I don't think I don't know. Let's see. What have all?
I guess I just hope he doesn't act like Jaquan. Jaquan clearly is a battering ram, and Kyler is that type of player that's not afraid to kind of put his body on the line. He's a smaller cornerback. Not saying that he isn't strong. Obviously, he's a football player, but he's on the smaller side. But he isn't afraid of contact. And so I just hope that with that in mind, with him being able to blitz and attack downfield and really kind of have his hair on fire at times, that doesn't come back to bite him kind of like it did with Brisker. And so for me, that would be the only concern. But I mean, at the same time, he's definitely worth the contract. I feel like this is a guy that is going into his prime. And he is one of the better slot cornerbacks in the league.
Now, I think this is interesting as well. Has missed multiple games each season he's been in the league. Had a concussion, missed 3 weeks for a concussion, only concussion on there. Broke his hand, missed 4 weeks. Thigh and hamstring pull last year, missed 4 weeks. So broken hand, soft tissue, concussion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think that that is a. Those aren't injuries that I'm overly concerned about. That sounds like the injuries of a football player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that just sounds like, and I know people don't want to look at it this way, and I would love for every player in the world to play 16 games. More times than not, most players aren't, or to play 18 games. Most players aren't going to be able to do that, right? Or 18 weeks, I guess I should say. It'll be 18 games soon enough.
Games.
Give it a second.
It probably will. Yeah.
It'll be 18 games soon enough. But like, most players aren't going to be able to hit that number. If you're in that 14, 15 range for me, I can live with that. 13's pushing it. Yeah, I mean, but if you're in that range, and it also depends on when some of these injuries are. You know, the tough part about it is a lot of the times that we've gone into the tough stretches of the season is when Kyler Gordon has been banged up. The hope is that won't be something concerning, but I don't think any of these injuries are anything that I look at and go, oh, I've got red flags, right? Jaquan Brisker, I think, is a different situation because it keeps being his brain.
Yeah, that is the concern.
Now, I will say this, and I said this a lot last season. I don't know how much of Jaquan's concussion last year was all concussion.
Or was it?
You know what I mean?
I'm gonna sit this crap out.
I felt like there was a little bit of hey, Jaquan, just stay home, though.
Just chess game.
Just stay home. Yeah, man. That's you sit at the house. We don't want you. But I think the big thing for me about the re-signing Kyler Gordon is it's a priority for me as long as it doesn't get in the way of improving the trenches. Now, it shouldn't. It shouldn't. You should be able to do all of these things. All of these things should be able to happen here for the Bears. But I do believe that if you're talking about, and again, I'm talking about major, right? I almost don't know if I would sacrifice Kyler Gordon for Josh Sweat. Because the concern for me with Josh Sweat is not that he's not a good player, and I do think that he's a very good player. But the concern for me with Josh Sweat is he better than Montez Sweat? The person I'm signing, I need to be, unless you believe that Montez is going to be this number one guy, which I think he can be, if you take some pressure off of him and add to this offensive line. But I don't know. Are we looking for Montez Sweat's running mate here, or are we looking for a possible number one? There's some possible number ones out there for you to get. And Josh Sweat to me feels like yet again another number two that may be able to benefit, which means Montez has to step up and be that legitimate number one. But the Kyler Gordon conversation, I'm all in on re-signing Kyler. I don't know what are slot corners making right now. I would assume that's probably around an $18 million deal.
I think the most expensive one right now is the one in New York on the Jets. I could be wrong about that, but I feel like the most expensive slot corner has been paid on the Jets. I forget his name.
Is that Michael Carter?
Yeah, the third.
Michael Carter, the 14th or whatever it is.
King Louis the
No, he's a weird one, ain't he? He should be a junior, but he's like the second or something like that.
Yeah, I think he's the highest paid, I believe.
Hey, we may have to rethink this. Oh, never mind. I got scared. I thought this was $30 million a year.
Like,
Kyler and his son. So he's making 10 if he's the top. Total guaranteed is 18. Trying to see. Is there somebody who's making more that's a slot? Yeah, I think you're right. At least from what I see. So yeah, Kyler, I mean, you talk about getting him back here at 14 million, maybe?
Yeah.
Or 12 million, whatever it is. Okay.
And again, I'm fine with that because and this is one of the things you heard Ben Johnson mentioned yesterday is that, again, whether or not we get a big name, a superstar. So, if you want to go out and obviously address the edge or the offensive line, I think you should still put an importance on the players that have been here and have deservedly gotten a contract for your team. And we've seen Ryan Poles go out and do that with Jalen Johnson. It took a minute, but we saw him take care of his own when it comes to that. And so he's setting that track record of doing that constantly. So you have no problem with that. But my thing is that Ben Johnson, again, going back to what he said, hey, whether or not we have starts, it's all about 11 players on the field playing, together and being cohesive. Yeah. That's what it is at the end of the day. That complementary football for all of the 11 of you guys, whether it's on offense or defense. And so one of those key pieces would be Kyler being a part of that core 11. And so I have no problem with paying him. I see somebody saying, hey, get him 3 to 4 for 24. So what is that, 8 to 6? I think you pay him.
Nah, you're gonna be in there. You're gonna be around the 12 range.
More than that.
You're gonna be around the 12 range, which is fine. Like, again, Kyler Gordon is a dog. You know what I mean? If you're talking about paying him $12 million, I'm not losing my mind on that. I'm not even upset by that in the slightest. I think that makes sense. You know what I mean?
He's worth more than a running back.
You got dang right. He's worth more than a running back. You wanna know why?
I knew it.
He'll play longer.
Oh boy, you shut your mouth. I can't stand you. Whatever.
Yeah, I wouldn't pay a running back with running back money. But no, man. I think that the Kyler Gordon conversation is a good one because of the fact that I don't think it gets in the way of anything. And you're keeping an impact player. That's the main thing, right? Are you keeping impact players on your team? And are you overvaluing guys? Or are you undervaluing guys? I'll tell you what. We both talked about the likelihood of Cole Kmet being a major piece on this team. When you hear how Ben Johnson talks about him, Ben Johnson ruffled some feathers yesterday with the Caleb Williams conversation. I locked in on the Cole Kmet conversation. Because he was like, I've never worked with a guy like this before. And I was like, dang, Sam Laporta? Just F that guy, huh? But wow, really? Listen, I think he was talking about stature of Cole. Cole is massive. And like if you see Cole in person, like, it's unnaturally like when you see most NBA players, maybe if you see LeBron James is different, right? But when you see most NBA players up close, especially now, they like slender. They got a slender build. Not to say that they're not like jacked, but it's a lean height. Like you'll be like, oh, this guy's really tall. Cole walks up like that shadow that walked up behind Shooter McGavin and Happy Gilmore.
Oh, yeah.
I found your ball, Mr. McGavin.
Say he's a massive guy.
Mr. Gilmore's jacket. Cole kind of run like that too, actually. But like Cole is a massive human being. Like you walk up to him like, "What's up, Cole? How you?" Oh God! Like remember in Lion King when Mufasa when Simba put his paw in Mufasa's paw print.
Oh yeah,
and it felt like his paw shrank. Yeah, that's how it feels. Yeah, it's nuts. So I think he was speaking more on the stature of Cole than anything else. But listen, I like that Ben's throwing shots. I like that Ben's taking jabs. I like the confidence in our new head coach. Now you got to do it. You got to win. You can't go out there and be confident and go out there and get your butt kicked.
No, you can't do that. But I do like the start.
I mean, this guy is just coming out hey, Caleb Williams, most talented quarterback I've ever had the chance to work with. Pow!
There you go, Jared.
Wait a minute.
It can only be Jared. Stinking guff. Take that. Shoot. Where'd
you pull that from?
I don't know. I was thinking about stinking Jared.
The wild part is I went American Mattress. That's where my brain went on that. American Mattress, where dreams come true. Hey man, stop giving all this free promo away, man.
Sorry about that.
Hey, bro, real talk. You ever walked into a mattress store and bought a bed?
Yeah.
Have you? I've never done that, bro.
I have.
We just went to freaking.
I just actually did.
What's the store called? I forget the name of the store. They got them.
It's a clearance at a mattress. Is it Mattress Firm? I forget.
Oh, you be there for the president's sales.
Yeah.
You be there for the president's day
for when they're going out of business. That's when I get my stuff.
They always going out of business. They never go out. We got a spot that's been here 9 years. It's been going out of business for 9 years. Everything else go.
That's hilarious.
Oh, God. That is funny, bro. That mug. But no, man, like I think it's just funny, like feeling confidence from a head coach from day one.
Yeah.
Because I ain't gonna lie to you, right? Like, and I was a kid, so I don't really remember it as much when they hired Lovey. I just remember being like, oh, he's black. That's cool. And not really paying attention much. I would assume, though, that when Lovey Smith spoke, there was not a lot of confidence instilled in people. I know the introductory press conference, we're going to go out there, we're going to play the game right, and we're going to beat the Packers. I love it, right? I think everybody says, beat the Packers in the press conference, but I can't imagine people were like running down the streets like, Lovey Smith,
yeah. But I mean, we know Lovey has that demeanor. It's just like kind of laid back Southern style. Sometimes you just don't have the personality of like, hey, this is what we're going to do, and strap up and get ready because it's time to turn this ship around. And we're about winning now. It's like there's a certain assertiveness that Ben Johnson just has. And again, you love to see it because, I mean, look at where he came from. What did we laugh about before it came true when it came to Doug Campbell, when it came to Campbell?
Dan Campbell, Dan Campbell,
I couldn't get his first name for whatever reason. Dan Campbell.
You called him Doug. You definitely called him Doug.
Doug Campbell. That's how much I don't care about those Detroit Lions. Doug Campbell said this is
Dan Campbell for you.
No, but Dan, he mentioned bite kneecaps off. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to create a culture that's aggressive and tough. We're coming after you. And we were like, hey, get this guy out of here. These 0-16 Lions and this crap of a franchise. Who is this guy? He's going to be just like everybody else. Now look at him. And so that confidence that you come in with, yes, you love to see it. That's the biggest thing that I'm leaning on. And it's not like you said that we haven't seen it before with certain coaches saying the right things, right? Oh, beat Green Bay. Yes, we're all about beating those guys first, and then we're going to set a culture here. You heard Eberflus probably say some of the same things, but again, when it sounds different, when it sounds believable. There's just certain things that come off the right way, and Ben Johnson's doing that. But again, going back to the topic of Kyler Gordon, I feel like that's where also the confidence comes in, is because you're paying these guys that are setting a standard in a culture. And I feel like Kyler Gordon is one of those players who, even in this past this season, wasn't a slacker, wasn't one of the guys that during the week of practice leading up to the game was putting in minimum effort. You don't really see that in a Kyler Gordon. So that's why you make sure that you pay him, you reward him for not only what he has done, but the potential of what he could become.
Yeah, 100%. Hopefully we see this keep going. I'm now listen, this may be a hard take and we got to get up out of here, but there was a part of me that was reminded after hearing Ben Johnson speak and I re-listened to some of the stuff this morning as well as I was putting the show together. Where I just went, I remembered asking like Tom Waddle, what did Ditka do in there? What did he do to scare the McCaskey so much that they're scared to go after that kind of coach again? And as I hear Ben Johnson just like putting pressure on players, hey, look, you no block, no rock. You're not getting the ball if you ain't blocking on the outside. If you're not doing this, you're not going to get the benefits over here. Hey, you got to figure this out now. There's a part of me that was listening and not saying that he is, but it was like, you got a little Ditka too? You got a little Ditka in there?
Get you some gum and start chewing.
Is it a big Ditka? Is there a little Ditka? Yeah, man.
Hey.
What's going on in there? And then this is the weird part. All I did was like, what if we put some aviators and a mustache on that guy? And I was like, he kind of looks like Ditka. Like Ditka, if you throw aviators and a mustache on him.
He puts on a sweater, we might have something there.
He puts on a sweater. You might see my Ben Johnson on the table. But
I'm nodding. All right.
Hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in. The show and love as always. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. As always, for Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC, it's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Let us know how you guys feel on Ben Johnson wanting to win and win now. Let's hope that we actually can do it. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bed down. One love.
Yes, sir. Peace. By the way, is DeAndre Swift officially going to be gone?
Hey, this dude hates DeAndre Swift. Hey, you know, just exactly like how he came out for the offensive line. There's no support for DeAndre Swift in any of these interviews. How do you feel about the possibility of that running back room taking off? We're going to have to add some pieces.
You got to let some people go too. Yeah,
we're gonna evaluate that room. We haven't looked at everything, but you know we're willing to add in free agency.
I did it once. I did it once. I can do it again.
Hey, DeAndre, step into my office and take that with you.